So you're thinking of moving right here to Texas, but you're wondering, how do the property taxes here in Texas work? Well, sit right there because today's video is all about Texas property taxes. I'm gonna walk you through all the different taxes that add up to this cumulative tax that's then applied to the appraised value of the homes here in Texas. You can then see how property taxes here in Texas compare to where you're coming from, and that way you can go ahead and get a good idea of what to expect for Texas property taxes as you plan your move here to the Houston area. So let's get after it right now. Before we jump into this video, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living right here in Houston, Texas, the best way to do that is to subscribe to our channel. Tap the bell for notifications. That way you guys can be the first to know about everything going on right here in Houston. My name's Ferris, and my team, we really do get calls, texts, and emails at all hours of the day and night from people that are just like you, that are doing their research online, trying to figure out if Houston is the right area for them. So if you're looking to move in a day or a week or a month or even a year, give us a call or shoot us a text, send us an email. That way we can start planning with you, and that way we can help you make a smooth move here to Houston. We're gonna hop into my computer right now, and we are gonna talk about Texas property taxes. So what I've done is I've pulled a property that's recently sold here. I figured the best way to explain this is to use a real example. So this home is here in the Woodlands, which is a suburb north of Houston. It's in a popular price range in the 800s, which is a price range that seems to be kind of a really common price range in the Woodlands at least. And this is a really nice home. It's got a pool, it's semi-updated, but it's clean, turnkey, and it sold in 5 days. And it actually sold for over list. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna look at the tax details for this particular property. So this home just sold mid-2022, and if you look back to 2021, it was appraised for $592,000. Now, that doesn't mean that the home's worth $592,000 as you've just seen, because the home just sold for $825,000. What this does mean is that the county appraisal district sent their appraiser out to value the home, and this is the value that they're using when they're taxing you for your home. And so actually you want this number to be as low as possible because that's what you're getting taxed on. And so for 2021, with no exemptions, the total taxes paid on this home, which it's an $825,000 home now, the total taxes paid were just under $13,000. And like I said, that's before exemptions, which I'll explain here in a second. The other thing to note here is that property taxes here in Texas, when they talk about the tax rate, they're talking about this number, which is the cumulative tax rate. And the reason it's a cumulative tax rate is because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 taxes on this particular home that all add up to that 2.1816 number. Now here in the Houston area, the just napkin math general range of taxes that I typically see, it's rare that you see property taxes in areas below 2%, but you do see them in the high 1%, it's like 1.8, 1.9. As you get further outside of Houston into the country, you'll see 1.6. And then on the flip side, the highest ones that I've seen are in typically newer areas, and I've seen them as high as 3.8, 3.9. And so that's a big jump, especially when you're talking about an $800,000 home, because remember, property taxes don't go away. You can pay off your mortgage, you can stop paying interest on it, but the one thing that never goes away is your property taxes. In fact, most likely, they're gonna keep going up over time. And so one other thing to note here, and I wanted to use this as an example. So this was the 2021 appraised value of the home. Now, we're filming this mid-2022, and if you hop over here to the County Appraisal District website, they actually have the new appraised values out for 2022. And so they have actually bumped the appraised value of this home up to this $652,000. And so that's effectively a $60,000 appraisal bump. And so what that ends up doing is that's $60,000 more of value that you're getting that 2.18% tax rate applied to. So there are certain exemptions here in the state of Texas that you can file for to help do two things. One, it'll help lower your tax burden for your house. And then two, it'll help slow down the rate at which the appraisal district can increase the value of your home over time. And so it can get very tricky. So just to boil it down into really simple terms, what we need to do is let's look back at this total assessed value. So this one's $592,650. And so if you have a homestead exemption on this home, for example, certain portions of the cumulative tax rate, like Montgomery County, they might say that with a homestead exemption, we're only going to tax you on 80% of this value. So what you would do is 592,000 times 0.8. That's the value that this tax rate would then be applied to. So it's not applied to all of them across the board, but essentially what it does is it gives you a little bit of a discount on your taxes for your primary residence. So you only get one homestead exemption. So if you have a second home, you can't file a homestead on that property. So if you own multiple properties, typically you want your homestead exemption to be on your most expensive property, but it's supposed to be your primary residence. And then the other exemption that you can get is an over 65 exemption here in Texas. What that does is it helps limit the amount that the county appraisal district can increase your taxes over time. And I think what it also does is it wipes out part of the school tax, since if you're 65, you probably don't have new kids. So all that to say, when you're looking at property taxes here in Texas and you're looking at listings, the first thing that I do for a lot of clients is I look down here and I look at their property tax and I say, okay, 2.1, it's actually on the lower side. Property taxes are the cost of doing business here in Texas. This one's not that bad. Let's roll with it. Or I'll say, hey, this is a great house. And the reason it's not selling is because it has a really high property tax and you just need to be prepared for that indefinitely. So don't underestimate the benefit of not having a state income tax here, because whenever you're looking at your financials from wherever you're moving from and you're trying to justify a move to Texas to see if it's actually going to save you in the scheme of things, this property tax is it's not too substantial, especially once you get your homestead exemptions, if you're coming from a state that has a state income tax. And so I hope that this gives you a really good example of how the property taxes work here. And so if you have any questions about property taxes, go ahead and give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. That way we can help you guys make a smooth move as you're planning to move here to the Houston area. And go check out some of our other videos. We roll out weekly videos on all the suburbs here in the Houston area to make it easy for you to learn about Houston. That way, whenever you are ready to make a move, you give us that call. And so we'll see you guys in the next video.